Hello friends, it's TJ and this is MisterWah, and welcome back to another SplinterCell Blacklist guide and walkthrough. We're going to be going through the entire thing completely undetected on the Perfectionist difficulty. We're going to hopefully master Ghost as we go through it, and we're going to do it all without killing a single target. So let's begin. I'm going to now tell you what gear I would highly recommend. Now this is a very easy level. A lot of people can just be taken out completely hand to hand. So really all I'm going to recommend is you get your tri-rotor and you bring a crossbow and maybe just sleeping gas and the sticky cam that also emits sleeping gas just so you have an extra one. It's really simple. That's all I'm going to say you're going to need. Now right at the start we'll go through some vents and we'll end up right here. We're actually just going to slide directly down and we're going to take out our first two targets hand to hand, just coming up behind both of them, and then we're going to actually go behind this, and this is the only time that I'm going to use any gadgets throughout this entire level. You guys could use them later on if you want to. I choose not to, but I'm going to throw a sticky cam at these two guys and emit the gas. You could use sleeping gas here too, and then we're going to run over to the next targets in the hallway. Now there is a bunch more guys in this entire room area where I would actually recommend taking out a lot of them because it does actually sometimes rack you up the extra points. So I would recommend taking out some of them, especially if you can get them in pairs for the combos. That would be a really good idea. But we're just going to go in this hallway and I jump directly on the pipe. And this is where I kind of play the waiting game because there's a point when the one guy in the hallway won't be looking and I jump on top of the other guy's head, and then we will hand to hand the other guy after he's kind of further away and in a good spot. We'll take him out as well, and then we'll move on through the door. And I actually decide to leave everyone else. I would recommend taking some of them out using the tri-rotor or the sleeping gas if you want to rack up some extra points, but leaving them undisturbed is okay as well. Now we're going to move through the vents here and just move on to the next spot. We're actually just going to hand to hand these next two guys who are really easy. They're off on their own. You can just call them over or you can just run directly up to them and just spam X a bunch. No matter what, it's going to work. Taking out everyone in this entire level is going to be really easy. It's just the timing, and I'm going to be showing you guys the routes that I like to take and when I like to time things for your guys' help so you can hopefully get through it much easier if you're having struggles. Now after you move through the vents onto the next targets where there's the hostages in the room, you actually have several targets to be actually going after. Now I decide to move over to the right away and get for the guy who's on top because he's really easy. He's on his own. You can just run directly up to him, take him out, and then the next guy I go for, you can see is down over here. He's off on his own as well, and I'm going to take him out. Now what I do here is I actually call this guy over and they both ended up hearing me, the last two guys, and I got kind of lucky here. I took out the first guy and the other guy saw me, but he actually ran away and I never got detected. If you do have any issues here, I would recommend just trying to either take them out at the same time with any of your equipment, or you could just try and run up to both of them. Maybe you'll get lucky just like I did.
Grim, hostages are in the boiler room. The place. Just make sure that perhaps nobody goes in until I sweep them.
Now, after you slide down the ladder, you'll end up in this little room that I'm in. Now, the first thing I try to do is try to mark everyone because there is a lot of guys in this area, and we're going to take every single one of them out, all doing it hand to hand. We're not going to shoot or use any gadgets because it's really easy and you just run right up to them. Now, I just kind of hang on this pole a bit, try and get around, maneuver, and figure out where everyone is. Now once I see the first guy who's closest to me is alone on his own, I actually jump on his head and then just kind of take out the other guy just by doing another hand-to-hand kill. And from here on out, I kind of just wait it out and see if I can get people and pick them off. And we actually do have a heavy armored guy in this area who we have to get up behind. So if you can see here, there's actually a little path that I go over where I can take out this last guy. And when the heavy armor guy starts coming back in the room, because he does have a little cycle that he walks on, we can take him out from behind if you do exactly what I do here. And then we'll actually just go off after the last guy, and we can take them all out hand to hand, and it's really easy if you can just make sure you're sneaking around and you don't get detected. Now actually you could have bypassed the last three guys there, and you could have actually just bypassed everyone so far. It is actually quite easy to go through this entire level without disturbing any enemies. You can just kind of maneuver your way around. I decided to take them out because we do master Ghost in the end anyways, or at least we get really close, and if you do get close, I mean all you have to do is really get the extra 50 points to master Ghost. Now after you've done that area and you move to the next checkpoint, you will trigger a cutscene, and we actually do have an enemy that we have to choose if we're going to spare or kill. Remember, we're trying to go through this entire level without Sam Fisher killing anyone, so you do have to choose to spare this guy if you want to get that unlocked. Now going through this next search, we do actually have several enemies, and we actually do have these drones again that will detect you and explode if they do find you. So these guys are a little bit annoying, but they're really easy to get around because they just go in circles around this area. So all we're going to do is just hide here for a bit, and we're going to call the first guy over and take him out hand to hand, and we're going to kind of maneuver our way through and trying to hide behind the things hiding from the little drones, and we're just going to hand to hand everyone until we get to the guy who's actually operating the drones, and we're going to hand to hand him as well. This part is very slow. Basically all we're doing is hiding behind cover, calling people over, and then we're just going to melee them, and we're going to move on to the next person. There's only 3 guys or 4 guys in this entire area, and then the drones going around, so it is a very, very easy part to get through, and I'm sure none of you will have any struggles with this area. Now if you do want to get it completely undetected, all you have to do is really hide behind the piping, and you can go through the entire thing without actually having to kill or knock out anyone. Now after you take out this drone operator, there is actually a dead drop if you go up this ladder that I take, which is actually just for you guys to know I took that route so you guys could see that that is there. And then we're going to take out this last guy who's outside at the top of the door, and we're moving on to the next part, which is actually quite easy because we can bypass and really just get around a lot of people. There's not many people out here, and there's a lot of cover. Now there's 2 guys in this area who are actually just going to completely hand-to-hand both of them before we get to the checkpoint, and it's really easy. I kind of go a little bit of a weird way and take out the guy at the top of the stairs first, and then the guy who's at the bottom of the stairs. Really all you have to do is wait for them to split up and take them out one by one. If you want, you could actually use the sleeping gas here, or you could take them out with the tri-rotor. Really up to you, depends how you want to do it. If you want to do it the way I did it, it is shown for you right here, and it was quite easy. Now, instead of going into the door to the left, we're actually just going to climb up this pipe on top of the building and take the vent system in. There's a lot of things throughout the levels of Splinter Cell that is actually really ideal if you're trying to stay undetected, and this way is perfect because it drops you right on top of the first enemy, and then we're going to take the next vent system to the next section. Now here's the second time that I don't actually hand-to-hand the 2 people. These 2 guys are never in a good spot. It's wide open. If you try to go to get the first guy, the next guy will see you. If you could have called him right at the start, that would have been ideal. You could also try and get the sleeping gas here, but they're never really close enough, so what I decided to do was just shoot them as quickly as possible with the crossbow. All you have to do is make sure your aim's on, but I'd actually decide to wait for Charlie to unlock the door, because there's no point anyways shooting them. You still have to wait the same amount of time anyway, so if you just shoot them both and then run through the door, you should be good. Now with this next part, you can see I've already started moving over to the A side, where I'm actually just going to slide down the ladder like you saw, take out that first guy, and walk over to the next guy and take this guy out as well. It's really quite simple, this part, so we're just going to kind of speed through it. After you take out the first 2 guys, you just sprint all the way over to the spot where you're going to hack it, and I decided to just jump over here and hack it without actually taking out the next 2 guys, who I do decide to take out anyway. You can actually just sneak right up behind the heavy, and then you can sneak right up in front of the next guy. And these guys all in this area are really quick and easy, but remember we're on a time limit here, so you do want to kind of try and get it fast. I'm sure you won't fail because it's really quite easy. We're going to run right back over to the ladder, climb back up, and move on to part B. Now I must admit the other side is actually a little bit more difficult than the last side we just did, but it is still quite easy. We're still just going to hand-to-hand every single person in here, and then we're going to run right back over. But first I'm going to show you that you just go over to this side, and you can climb up here, and I actually kind of just wait for the 2 guys here to split up, and I take them out all in order, taking this first guy out, and then you just climb up on top of the little wall, take the next guy out, sneak right up behind the next guy, and take the last guy out. Now when you actually go over to the little thing that we have to hack, that's trying to poison the water and everything, there's actually the heavy right there who we're actually going to try and take out as well, just right from behind. Then you can hack it easily. We still do have 2 guys left who we're just going to take out quite easily, just running up to them or waiting for them and getting a hand-to-hand kill on them as well. Well everyone, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Now actually we didn't master this level on the ghost setting. We are only 50 points away, so I actually had to get 1 more kill, which I forgot to do in this video, but I thought it was still good enough, and I wanted to show this playthrough. So all you have to do is just get 1 more guy in the first room, or even get an exploration or something small. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next guide.